Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today, I want to talk about something that I think a lot of students have come across at some point, and that is the National Society of Leadership and Success, also known as the NSLS. If you've ever gotten one of those emails saying you've been nominated to join, you probably had the same reaction that I did, because it sounds impressive, it sounds selective. It's literally called the National Society of Leadership and Success. And it sounds like something that, could actually matter. And so that's exactly why I want to talk about it, because there's a lot of confusion around what it actually is and how valuable it is and whether or not it's worth joining. So I'll just walk through my experience and then give you my honest take. So about a year ago, I got nominated through my school. It came in this very formal letter. I was very impressed. Seems really classy. I thought it was very interesting. I didn't think too much about it at first, but it definitely caught my attention with the way it was presented to me through the mail. Then I found out when I went to try and join that there was a fee to join, which was around like $90, I think. And so that was my first pause. So to be fair, though, a lot of honor societies and organizations do have fees. So that alone didn't immediately turn me away. I decided to go ahead and join just to see what it was actually like. So once you pay the fee, you're not immediately in the society, technically. Like you still have to go through an induction process. And that process involves a few things. So one part is watching a series of leadership and motivational talks, videos. Some of these are from very well-known speakers, like successful individuals and celebrities, and they update them quite often. And, I mean, being honest, like, some of those I've really enjoyed quite a bit. Like, I sometimes even just listen to them, having them play in the background. I really enjoy that part of the society. The other major part is being placed into a small group with other members where you meet and discuss your goals. And so the society has a Facebook group, and you can form, within this Facebook group, you form your own individual smaller groups where basically you meet together to discuss your goals and work on SMART goals. So I'm sure you guys have heard of SMART goals before. That is a huge thing in the society. And so you meet with your group at least a few times to talk through these goals, how you're progressing, and basically hold each other accountable to your own goals that you set. You have a minimum number of times in order to complete the induction process. I think it was like around 3 or 4 times we met. Now, this is where my experience got interesting personally, because my group, and I'm just being honest here, it felt like everyone was just trying to check the box and move on. And so we had our meetings, we talked about our goals, everyone participated, they were great meetings. But as soon as we hit that final required meeting, everyone just disappeared. There was no continued collaboration, no ongoing accountability, nothing like that. And that was kind of the big realization for me, is that this is very much a you get out of what you put into it type of organization. So if you're actively trying to build relationships, stay connected, and actually use the group, you might get more value out of it. But if everyone is just there to complete the requirement and move on, that's pretty much all it becomes. Now let's talk about some of the other benefits. So there are scholarships available through the NSLS. I personally haven't applied to any yet, so I can't speak from experience there. I also don't personally know anyone who has received one, but they do exist, and that is something to consider. They also offer additional programs that you can pay for, like executive level training and leadership programs. I personally haven't done those. I probably won't. It's a lot of extra money. But those are options if you want to go further into what they offer. Now, one thing I actually do like and use quite often are the discounts. So they have a specific page in their society with a pretty large list of companies from where you can get small discounts on things like traveling, hotels, tech, like other services, restaurants. It's super, super fun. That I've actually enjoyed quite a bit. I mean, keep in mind the discounts aren't very massive. I don't think I've saved $90 worth yet from those coupons yet, but they are there, and I've actually been able to use them quite a few times. So that's definitely one of my favorite benefits. Now, there's also some level of networking as well, like whether that's through your group or through their online communities on Facebook. Again, how valuable that part really is depends on how much effort you put into it and who you're connected with. So getting into the real question that people ask, is it legit? I would say yes, absolutely. It's legit in the sense that it's a real organization. It's not hiding what it is. It's transparent about the fee, the whole process, and what you get. So I would not call this a scam. I've seen people online claiming that the National Society of Leadership and Success is a scam, but I don't think it is. However, I also would not call it a highly prestigious honor society. And I think that's where people get tripped up. Because when you hear, like I said, something like the National Society of Leadership and Success, it sounds very selective, it sounds very high level, but truly prestigious societies are usually much more selective, often based on academic performance, invitations that are harder to get, or even like long-standing academic recognition. When it comes to this society, this feels way, way more accessible, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it does not care. It just means that it doesn't carry the same weight as some of the more established and selective organizations. So in my personal opinion, what are you actually paying for? I'd say you're mostly paying for the status of being part of a society. So you get the membership, you can list it on your resume, places like that. You can wear the graduation cords and sashes that they have. I mean, you have to pay extra for those. And you can say you were inducted into a national society for leadership and success. That's what you pay for. Beyond that, the extra benefits are there, but they're not overwhelming. So if you're trying to decide whether to join, I would definitely think about your priorities, because if you want the title, if you like the idea of being part of a national society for leadership and success, if you think you'll take advantage of the networking, the events, and the scholarships, then that might just be worth it to you. However, if you're expecting a highly exclusive, career-changing organization, then you are going to feel underwhelmed, because this just is not what that is. So for me personally, I thought it was fine. It's a decent experience, but it was not as impactful or prestigious as I had initially expected. And I think a lot of the disappointment people have comes from that mismatch in expectations. So I wouldn't say don't join. I would just say understand what it actually is before you do and whether or not that aligns with your goals. So anyways, if you guys have any thoughts or comments or questions about anything regarding the society, please let me know. Leave it in the comments down below. I'd be happy to answer any of those questions you might have. But basically, that's just about all I've got for today. Hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you later.